Good afternoon. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is nice to come together for the purpose of co-creating, is it not? You are a group here in unity, are you aware?
Feels like it.
You've come from the far corners of the universe, if you include your non-physical counterparts, that is. All here, many more than you see, to participate in this monumental time of co-creating. Do not underestimate the value or the power of that which you are participating within. So often from your physical perspective, you see yourselves as taking place in something that will hopefully bring to you a more productive, satisfying life experience. But that which you do as you are here together is far more than making your personal life better. For we are literally chewing upon ideas from a variety of perspectives and adding unto the universe in a way that has never been or will never be again. This offering is absolutely unique unto the universe. What is it you're wanting? We're not wanting to use more than our 12 minutes.
I wonder if you could back up to who we are just prior to emerging and expound on what I've heard you say very vehemently, that our being here justifies our being here. And I haven't heard, I'd like to hear that, just that comment worked on. I'd like to hear as much about that as you can offer.
You are not just these physical beings that you see. There is an inner part of you that is so old and so wise and so well lived. And this inner part of you exists in a place of pure, passionate, positive emotion. There are two of you. Not really, it is one of you, but there are two perspectives. This physical you looking around and the inner you looking around. Your inner being is aware of you in every moment that you are in this physical skin. In fact, the very life force that is within you, you know, the difference between being dead or alive, that life force, that is projected into you from your inner being. And so the attention from your inner being is consistent. There is a powerful law of attraction, which says, as I stand in my physical body, all is attracted unto me by virtue of my focus and the way that I am feeling. Which means that which I consciously give thought to and the resonating energy from my inner being is what equals my point of attraction. If I, as this physical being, decide for whatever reason to beat up on myself, oh, there is a hole in my sock and there is too much fat on my fanny and there is a pimple on my face and my work is not going well, I am worthless. Your inner being, who is eternally aware of you, cannot be attracted by you as you are in that mode of negative attraction. In other words, just as oil and water do not mix, you, as you choose to beat up on yourself, are not in the place of attracting who you really are. And so you are standing in that moment out here separate and apart from who you really are. And you describe that by saying, I feel insecure, or I feel lonely, or I feel frightened, or I feel not enough. In other words, because you are not resonating with who you really are by virtue of your thoughts. When you go to sleep at night, your consciousness stops. In other words, you are no longer consciously projected into this physical body. And what happens as you sleep, just as you die, that is not death, but you know what we mean, that energy is then withdrawn, not all of it, because there is energy that is projected still to keep your blood flowing and your heart beating and all of that sort of stuff. But in terms of any conscious creative energy flow, it is withdrawn. You re-emerge into the non-physical. And there you focus upon other things. You focus upon that of your inner perspective, your broader awareness. In the morning, when you reemerge, you have literally been reborn. You are literally in the place of newness. You are literally in the place where now you can begin the positive attraction. The reason we are pulling on this rope is because of the story our friend offered about a very large ship that was being docked with a very large rope, too big to throw across the expanse of water. So a small ball of twine was tossed across, which was spliced into a bigger rope, which was spliced into a bigger rope, which was spliced into a bigger rope. And this is the way your thoughts are connected one to another. Now, as this physical being that you know as me, you are much of the time in a place of positive attraction so that your inner being is resonating with you. In fact, that's the reason that so many of you have a difficult time understanding that you are receiving, that you are blended, that you are interacting with non-physical, because you have never been otherwise. What is at the root of your questioning?
Our decision to come to Earth, to be born. What more of what goes on prior to our being here in physical form that makes you so clearly say our being here justifies our being here. This is a country that's particularly hung up on the workforce and justifying our being here by working and getting it done, whatever it is. And as I get more and more removed from all of that, and see others struggling with that, with letting go of their doing, justifying their being here, it seems to me, since you're so vehement about our being here, justifying our being here, that there's more to the story of what went on before we came here.
It is just that it is not that there is so much more to the story. It is that we understand the laws. We know how it is that you get everything that you get. And we know that most of you that are working so very hard in order to justify your well-being are doing much more in your hard work to push away what you want than you are to let it in. You see, there are two motivators. One is deciding what you want and letting that desire literally inspire you to action. And the other is being so clear of what you don't want that you just keep whipping yourself forward in order not to fall into the crevasse of lack. And that is the orientation of your physical world. Now, why does the physical world not understand what we know is really a better question. It is not so much how do we come to this strange conclusion that being here is your justification for life. It is that most of you who have been subjected to control or desire to control by so many others have been convinced that it is not that way. Physical man has interacted with the non-physical world in many different ways. It would take us 10 of your physical lifetimes just to recount the different ways that you have been interacting with the non-physical. And most of it has been through a perspective of only physical eyes. As physical creatures, you don't believe anything that you can't see physical evidence about. And the only thing that you are sure in terms of physical evidence about is action. You want that over there? Pick it up and put it over there. You want that over there? Pick it up and put it over there. Everything that has physical action is believable to you, you see. And so you have become so convinced that if you can't see it, if it is not physical and tangible in some way, that then it does not have any real basis of reality, that you have brought yourself to tremendous limitation because there is not enough action in the world for you to compensate for the negative attraction that you're doing with your thought, you see. Our knowledge is more offered because we are understanding so clearly the laws of the universe. We could talk to the mass consciousness if we could spend an hour with each of you, or a year with each of you, or 10 years with each of you, where we just sit around all day and we tell you how magnificent you are. And we tell you how pure you are, and how we remember that before you emerged into this physical experience, your exuberance for it. And there is not 1% of you who would come close to understanding what we are saying, because you have spent most of your physical lifetimes focused upon the physical stuff that surrounds you and making all of your decisions about what's right and what's wrong based upon the physical stuff that you see around you. You see, here is the bigger picture that you are reaching for. We'll be very quick about it and clear. Physical beings have it backwards, and this is the backwards premise that most of you have operated from, the legacy that is passed on from one to the next, to the next, to the next. God is perfect. I, as physical man, am imperfect. I've been placed upon this planet as some sort of trial or test or proving ground. And if I do a good job here, then I will be granted or judged and granted some greater reward later on. And if I work hard enough, most believe that there are many lifetimes that this growth is allowed in, while others believe that there is just this one. But almost all believe that in this trial period, if I don't get it right, it's too late. And if I do get it right, that's a very good thing. And that my quest is to become as God is, God who is finished. And nothing could be further from the actuality of it. Your knowledge as you emerged here is this: God and all that you know as God, all that is non-physical, all that is within the universe is in a state of eternal growth. Therefore, there is not an ending to any of it. And in this quest for growth, there is an eternal seeking from new experience, because words don't teach. There aren't even words in the non-physical dimension. It is the transmission of blocks of thought. And so what could be more powerful than real life experience through which to draw conclusions, through which to experience, through which to feel, through which to decide, through which to become? And so physical life experience is not a testing ground, it is a creating ground. This physical experience is literally the leading edge of thought. It is not you down here as physical beings reaching outward to God for some sort of pointed experience that ends here. It is the other way that it is going. This is the leading edge of thought. You see, again, physical man, most of you, come forth and say, I want to find a philosophy of life that is right, for you want to be right. And then when you find one that feels right, at least everybody that's part of that group feels good about it, so good that they're willing to kill the others. We're right and they're wrong, therefore we are commissioned by God to get rid of everyone else. They all say that as they kill each other, you see. As their philosophy becomes more entrenched within them, then they begin to say things like, won't it be nice when the whole world hears our message and they all think and be and do just as we do? Will that not be a wonderful world? And we say, you are talking about endedness. You are taking broad thought and narrowing it down into one thought. That is going backwards. That is defying all of the laws of the universe. Instead, this universe started with one thought, which expanded outward to another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. And the more thinkers that evolve, the more thinkers that decide to think, the more thinkers that get together as you are getting together and merge their thoughts and their experience and their desires and their beliefs, then the more the universe becomes, you see. And so that is the bigger picture. Where does that leave you in terms of all of the others? We would say we have started with a very good example. Whether you have one other in your experience that does not agree with you, or whether you have masses of others in your experience that do not agree with you, it matters not at all. Because none of them have anything to do with your point of attraction. Not any of them, no matter how close to you they seem to be. Because it is only you and the way you are feeling that is responsible for what you are attracting.